Hi everybody, I just wanted to jump on here and let you guys know I'm going to try to do a series of tutorials for different apps, different tools that we use. I would like to go through the guidelines as posted by the Fulton County schools for this week's expectations eventually, and I'm going to try to house all these videos together in one place, perhaps a YouTube channel, something like that. I haven't quite landed on that yet, but I did want to take a minute and go through Launchpad. And if you're unfamiliar with Launchpad, it is a website where all of our apps that we use are going to be kind of housed together. Most of them will already have students' login information linked directly to them so they can access them a lot easier. Your students should be familiar with these unless they're new. These apps are ones that we use frequently within the classroom, so hopefully they are familiar with it. I do know that there is a class link, which is the other, it was purchased by. Class link is the same thing as Launchpad. I know that there is a ClassLink app. However, I'm not sure if we have access to that outside of the school's network. So if you want to try that, there would be a code, which would just be Fulton, and then the students log in with their student ID number and their birthday. They should be very familiar with this. However, if you're accessing it from a computer or from the internet, the easiest way that I've found is just to go to launchpad.fultonschools.org. And from there, it's going to have your class link. I'm already logged in as a student, so that's why my database looks a little bit different than yours. Okay, so once you're logged in using their ID number and that birth date password, their formatting should look similar to this. There are some apps on here that we've never used and that they will not use. They're just going to be ones that are more for data purposes and things of that nature. But there are a few that I want to highlight. Pebble Go is going to be a great one, and Pebble Go Next for some of our advanced readers. They have plenty of articles and kind of digital books that students can access. I know that there are a couple of prompts on the ELA choice board from Fulton County that asked for nonfiction articles and things like that. We were actually using Pebble Go to help us with some of our living museum research. So those are some great ones that they can use, as well as this Mac and VIA, which is one that Miss Fowler, I believe, was sending information about. Basically, it has dozens, I believe more than dozens, hundreds of ebooks that they can access. There is a way to sort by author, subjects, genre, reading level, everything like that. And they can just access these digital books for some extra reading at home as well. If it does ask them to log back in, try that same username and password and let us know if it doesn't work. Other apps that we're going to be highlighting, BrainPop Junior. They have lots of videos and questions and quizzes that they can do with those. Every single subject, every single topic. So those are great and kids love them. They're very familiar with them. But the main ones that I wanted to go through were this HMH, which is where we access our iRead. Once they click on that HMH button, it will take them to the iRead app. I know that iRead is a little bit finicky on iPads and iOS devices. It does require Flash, so if you have a desktop or a laptop that the students have access to get on iRead, that's going to be the preferred way. There is an app, however, it won't work again outside of the county. So once they're in iRead, it's going to take them kind of to their home page, and then they can access their lessons. This is an app that teaches phonics skills and reading skills, so it is one that we would love for them to use during this time off. This is going to be where you're able to see their progress so far. So this particular student is in series 44, and these are each lessons that they need to complete, and then there's a story that they review the skill with at the end. We would like, ideally, all students to complete iRead by the end of second grade, and that's to get to series 50. There's usually about 7 lessons per series. The next one I wanted to go into is iReady, which, if you just go back to the ClassLink apps, is this one right here. Students, unless they have completed iRead, should not be focused on the reading just yet. However, if you're having trouble accessing the iRead program at home, please feel free to use this to supplement that.
Math.
Students click on that, and then it takes them to their next lesson, which is awesome. It's all self-monitored, and students can actually scroll down and see
my progress,
their progress, and to-do list and things like that. So they would click on my progress, and what's great about this is it's going to show me exactly how many minutes that they've done this week. It's going to show me how many lessons total this school year. This student has spent a lot of extra time on this. The goal by the end of the school year is 100 lessons in math for our students, and then those that have worked on reading, if they started at the beginning of the year, they would want them to get 100 there as well. What I love even more about this, though, is I can go to their completed work, and I can see what lesson they're currently working on, what they've got on it, and then I can also go through and see where some struggles were. So, for example, this student was working on fractions as tenths and hundredths. I can see that that was a very hard skill for them, which is not a second grade skill. So this student is working on some advanced programs in their iReady lessons, but it does give me a good idea, and you guys as parents, it gives you an idea of, okay, the Fulton County program board that we have this week, it's a little bit review, maybe this seems too simple, I want to do some extra challenge with you. Oh, okay, numbers and operations, fractions as tenths and hundredths. If you just do a Google search for fractions as tenths and hundredths, you can find Khan Academy videos, you can find all sorts of YouTube videos, you can search for just add the word worksheets at the end, and there will be some worksheets and things like that there that just give you some additional practice that you can do at home. And the last one I really wanted to talk about right now was going to be our seesaw, and students are super familiar with this. We use this all the time. The only thing that you might have some trouble with is right here where you can see that there's nothing added here. That simply just means that we are logged into the wrong class. All of our classes are going to be listed here. You can see language arts, math, social studies, things like that. We've kind of lumped everything together just for the sake of the iPad devices we use in school. But I can go here and see that this one with that number next to it tells me that that's the one that we're looking for. It's this 2B. It's just a generic class right here. What's going to be awesome for you guys as parents, if you have the parent app, you'll see all of their work. But from the students app, what they can access is these activities. And this is where I'm going to be posting. I'm going to post some each day, maybe every couple of days, just to give you some time. These are not required by any means. They're just going to be some ways to keep your child engaged and keep you guys some ideas to start with. So I can either play the instructions here or I can read the instructions here. And then it's as simple as clicking this add response button down in this bottom corner. So for this particular one, I would want to look at the instructions. The instructions said actually you take a picture of the work that I'm doing at home. So then I would use the photo app, take a picture. And once they've done that, there's tons of things that they can add to it, comments, posts, labels, things like that. See if it'll load real quick. So we've got a couple on there. This one is actually has a link added into it, and they get to watch a video on the mystery of money. This one is asking if they want to do an interview with you guys, and this one they just take a picture of the book that they're reading, and we can kind of ask each other questions and leave each other comments. If we go back to the journal page, we can see everything that has been added for this particular student, as well as things that I've added to everyone. So they can see my posts. You can see that students can leave comments for each other. You can see it's just a great tool for us to be able to stay in touch with each other throughout the time that we're here together. One of the things that I am adding is going to be some links that they can click on. I'm going to, based on the feedback I received, I got a lot of questions about consolidating extra resources and things like that. So I also had a split on get them daily as they come in. So I'm going to work on combining the two platforms together and create some sort of database where everything is accessible at once for those that want that. But for those that want something a little bit more daily, I'll be adding with this Flipgrid, I'll be adding links throughout Seesaw. Again, all of this is additional, and these are extra things that you can do with your child. The only thing that is required is 30 minutes of reading, 30 minutes of math based on that choice board that Fulton County provided for you. This is another cool tool, this Flipgrid link, that I am very excited to use. It'll hopefully allow us to kind of keep that classroom community going. We'll get to see videos of each other and ask each other questions and build off of that during this time. Students will log in using that same ID. They won't have to type in their password. They'll just type in their ID, and then we go here and we can see that this is the first one that we posted today. So it'll basically give you the instructions here, and then you can kind of go down and see we've already got one response here, and then I posted a response as well. So they can just kind of click on that, and it will pose the question for the day or whatever it might be that we want to do. Students can reply using a comment here, or they can simply click this plus and add their own video to record response to the question posed. I'm going to try to come up with some sort of a schedule so that you'll know when I'm posting these videos, and you can kind of keep up with that as desired, and hopefully it'll be a fun way for us to kind of keep that classroom community, keep the videos, and see how everybody's doing. So one last thing for students to be able to keep in touch when they go onto their notifications, which is just down here at the bottom. We were at that activities tab, and then we can go to the inbox. We can see notifications. This is where if I'm leaving comments, they'll see that I commented, and they'll know to go back and hopefully comment on that as well, or respond or ask a question or answer questions, that sort of thing. But another tool is going to be class announcements. It's very similar to the parents. However, in here you'll have one. This is just for the students, and so the students can actually go back and respond and things like that. Again, this green plus sign is going to be the main way that they're going to use to work through Seesaw and work through some of those activities and some of those ideas, just to keep them engaged throughout the week. And then one of the last things that I'm toying around with is creating a weekly checklist similar to this one that we use in our reading and ELA block. However, instead of phonics and vocab and things like that, it would say something like complete your reading activity from your choice board, complete your math activity from your choice board, check in on your Seesaw activities, check into Flipgrid, just some of those things that can be used, and know that all of those extra resources are just that. They are extra resources. They are things to enhance this time together, but they are not required in any way. So if any of this is feeling too much, just know again that you only have to do that 30 minutes of reading and 30 minutes of math based on those Fulton County choice boards. From what I've been told, you want to hold on to all that information, all that work until the end of the however long this lasts, and keep all of the work together and turn it in when we return back to school. If there's anything else that I want to collect grade-wise that would be due digitally, I will definitely communicate that with you as much as possible. I hope this video is helpful. I hope that it gave you some information. I plan to do one going through the choice board from Fulton County for this week, and hopefully that'll give you guys a little bit of clarification, at least from my interpretation of things. So thanks, and be safe, be well.